the people's choice.
My chair is no longer empty. Hi.
What's going on?
There he is. I was almost late to come in after the intro song because I was in the middle of hugging you.
My hands, for some reason, smell really good right now. I think it's my new body wash or new lotion. I don't know.
But you just over there smelling.
Smelling. I don't know, it smells good.
Well, I'll have to smell them in a little while.
Smell my hands.
How are you? So happy to have you back.
Yes, sir. Ready to roll?
As some of you know, I'm not sure, I haven't looked at the statistics. I did a little show by myself.
You what?
I did a little bitty kind of little rant about, what stay in the gray means to us and blah, yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. And talked a little bit about former President Donald Trump.
Is gray still spelled with an A?
We left it with an A.
Okay.
And I did not take
no other
podcast
changes
off the end.
Okay.
Everything is the same.
Gotcha.
But what do you think about this whole Donald Trump indictment? What do you think? Anything? I mean, do we?
You're going to hate
care?
me if I ask you this, but what is he being indicted for?
And you know what? This is kind of funny because there are so many people out there that are probably like so into this.
Well,
and they're gonna like, if I say anything wrong, they're gonna be like, this guy's an idiot.
Well, here's my the reason I ask is because at some point I know he was in trouble for hush money for an adult actress. Now
that's so old.
Okay, that's old. and then I heard he's in trouble for documents. For what are they called? Gosh.
Classified?
There we go. I almost said controversial, but that wasn't right. But classified documents being destroyed, gotten rid of, I don't know. Did he make a book out of them, or did paper mache, or what?
The best way to describe it is there are pictures that of all these classified documents that are government documents.
Gotcha.
In a storage room that are spilled over and all this stuff, and that he
this is a bad thing.
Kept them. I mean,
is it because he's not neat?
They're claiming
have him neatly filed.
Well, that's what his people will say, because if you look at some of the pictures, it's like some New York Times and some Washington New York Post and different newspapers, and everyone's like, well, what's wrong with that?
Yeah, he likes
but
newspapers.
Apparently within those boxes were some classified documents.
Yeah,
and that he didn't return them when he left office.
Oh, okay.
That seems to be what I gathered. And then, of course, his people are saying, hey, this is bullshit. He didn't do anything wrong based on this, and this. And then the other side is, they're praising, whatever. They're excited that he's going to be put away for 400 years and all these types of things.
So I'm assuming he's the first president to ever do this. Former president, I should say, to ever do this.
Well, he's the first former president to actually be indicted for it.
Really? But not the first one to ever do it.
You would think, right? That's my point. Is that?
But my God, let's jump on Donald Trump, because that's a big name.
It's the cool thing to do.
We can stir up some shit.
Yeah, I mean, even the current president, from what I hear, has some stuff going on with the same kind of deal, and his son definitely has some stuff going on. So there's a whole. It's just a mess. The whole political world.
I'm not very political. You know that.
I try and be, and then people go, "You're not."
When I sit there and look at Biden walking around, it makes me think of my grandpa in some kind of mental hospital,
where everybody's just like
kind of,
trying to appease him, like, "Oh,
it's like he just wanted to get in line for his pudding and go back and watch Wheel of Fortune."
His pudding.
Is that bad?
Yeah, it's probably not the best for a president.
I mean, I picture our president strong but it's just like somebody comes up, wipes his chin, feeds him another spoon of pudding.
Well, that's the point. That's what a lot of people that are on the other side of Joe Biden are saying. Exactly what you're saying. Okay, this guy has fallen down 6 times in the last 3 weeks, and each one is documented. How are world leaders across the rest of the world supposed to look at us?
Like, does he walk around the White House with those long socks up to his knees, some big baggy boxers and an undershirt, and his wife's running behind him? But Joe, we've put some clothes on, man. We've got to interview or something.
He's got like an erection through his boxers,
right?
Just walking around like it's nothing, just
scratching his butt.
Yeah, what's wrong?
So
yeah, I don't know. That's the thing is that I don't think it's him. I think he's a puppet being used, but that's my opinion. That's a whole other topic.
Gotcha.
He's being used by the party, by other people, and he's.
Figured they could find a cooler puppet.
I agree.
Somebody strong and strapping.
Well, how about both sides? I mean, look, for entertainment purposes, I'm not going to lie to you. The Donald Trump thing is very intriguing. I think that's why half the people, whether you like him or hate him, are still happy that he's around. Deep down.
And I tell you what, and again, not a political person, but when Donald Trump came on the scene, it seemed like he was not a politician. And so I was intrigued at that point because I wasn't hearing the same political responses and, talking around in circles. Now, I don't follow him as heavily as most people do, whatever. But as a casual, political, interesting, look into shit type person, I thought Trump was kind of cool at first. So I was like, oh, this would be kind of cool. And going up against Hillary, really? I mean, if you hated Trump, did you really like Hillary? So
that's probably why he won. But I'm with you. I mean, I don't have and that's what I said on my little solo show. I don't. If you asked me to go play a round of golf with Donald Trump, I'd say hell yeah, that would be so much fun.
See, I don't know about that.
You don't think it'd be?
I don't know if that would be fun. I would probably go if you invited me to go. Hey, I'm going to play a round of with Donald Trump. Yeah.
At a nice course, you wouldn't go play.
I would definitely go. Like
a Muni course, you wouldn't. You wouldn't.
I would definitely tag along for something like that. I don't know, but I don't know what kind of shitty ass questions I would ask him though. I would want to.
But that's what I'm saying is just as a person, he's entertaining and he's just Donald Trump, and so you go, okay. And I think that's the issue is that he's got both sides. He's got and that's what I mentioned, and we don't have to talk about it much more, but I mentioned that he's got, in case you haven't listened yet, he's got both sides. He's got the one side who yells at him and uses him as a pawn to hate everybody else, and then one side glorifies him like he's literally the next coming of God. I mean, they have compared him to the next coming, and so I've heard people on the Trump train say that God literally sent him to us. Sent him to us so that he could save the country.
Can you imagine him showing up with a robe and some sandals on during one of his...
He grows his hair out in the back.
Holy crap.
Yeah. The beard. I can't imagine what
that would be so funny.
But that's the point. So both sides are idiots when it comes to Donald Trump, and that was kind of what I wanted to talk about. But Biden is the same thing. And so why can't we get a couple of good, educated, younger.
That would be nice, yeah.
Enthusiastic.
Instead of a Mr. Magoo. I don't know why that comes into my head. When I see Biden, I think Mr. Magoo.
I do too, and I think a lot of things. But again, what are you supposed to vote for? And so I always tell people, you vote for what matters to you and what policies are going to be pushed. It's not even about the two guys. It's about the parties at this point. And that sucks.
Yeah.
As an independent, that sucks. So anyway, I just didn't know what you thought about the Trump thing, but it seems to be topping the headlines, if you will.
A little bit.
But topping my headline, Trey, is something that Apple has done that I'm very excited about.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah. And when
Did you sense the excitement there?
Yeah. That's right. You're not an Apple guy. You are an Android
Which
guy.
Apparently is bad. You know, when I reached out to these on these dating apps, texting and stuff like that, I get a response.
Yeah, you have a
you
green.
have an Android. I'm like, how the fuck does she know that? You know,
You have a green text, which is evil.
What the hell does that even mean? You know,
You have a green text box, which means you're evil. It is interesting that people get angry. I don't get as angry anymore. But I used to be like, oh, you gotta be kidding me. You have a green box. You can't send. Sometimes the photos get messed up, and it just.
I do get jealous when I get Ryan liked a message or something to that effect. Like, I guess you have the ability to like something,
yes.
like a text. So I started actually texting out. Trey
likes
this picture, or Trey liked.
I didn't know you couldn't.
I don't think everybody noticed that.
You can't do that on an Android?
No, you can't do that.
Well, there you go. I mean, that's reason enough.
No.
So Apple is you know how obviously I'm sure that Android does the same thing with spell check. So you're typing a word and then it obviously will change it. You know, when you spell out 6 consonants and 3 vowels in a row, it will give you what it thinks you're trying to do.
Yep.
Or it won't, and it's like try again. Did you know that when you try to type fuck, that it always comes up with the word duck, like as in quack quack?
I did not.
It doesn't happen on your phone?
Does not. I typed it
tell
too
you
much.
what, the more time I've spent deleting characters only to type fuck instead of duck, I think I could have probably invented something by now, or definitely maybe advanced the podcast further. I mean, I had so much time. So it's not just me. How many other people have thought the same thing and that have lost time out of their life? I mean, this whole world could be different if Apple had just
figured that out.
Yeah, they just not because fuck is something that's probably typed more than any other word, I would imagine. And you're going to do it to duck? I mean, what about truck? I mean, people are going to say truck more than duck, right? In a text? Anyway, so I thought that was good news. They're going to change that. They finally come to reason. And
what frustrates me is I've really got to watch when I text like my family, because some of the shit I used to say to these women on these text messages, man, I really have to, because they try to auto-populate what they think I'm going to say.
Oh.
So then you have to really watch.
That's what your phone does. So like, say you've typed in like sweaty nipple a lot, that'll change it. Like if you're trying to say something else, somewhat, it'll change it to that.
I have to say, Mom, I want to see your... And then instead of it saying sweaty nipple, I've got to, make sure it doesn't auto-populate that kind of stuff in there when I'm texting my mom or my dad or something.
Yet another strike against Android.
Yep.
Because that could really mess you.
That could really make for an uncomfortable conversation.
I got a message from your mom. Did you know that?
I didn't know.
A message from your mom saying she wanted me to give her a warning the next story that you had for us. I told her, don't worry.
My poor mother.
Don't worry, Mama Trey. I said, I'll give you the time that it starts, and then you just
skip past it.
Skip past it. So get this. So as everybody knows, I've been trying to advance our podcast on social media. I've tried to on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. I mean, name it. We're trying to spread the word. I ran into a guy today on Twitter, and I made a joke that really was simply intended to be just something kind of funny about a last name, and I made it in jest, and it was most people actually liked it. And, you don't you like when you see people liking your posts, right?
Absolutely.
And so I got some likes. I was all excited, and then one guy responded, and he I'll cut to the end. He called me like a big racist, and I just kind of stepped back and said, this is exactly what I've been talking about. I didn't say anything remotely racist at all. You're making an assumption. You don't know me. And we went into this back and forth, which is my other problem, Trey.
No.
I can't just let it go.
No.
We went into this back and forth, and I was like really trying to explain, hey, look, here's an example of what I was doing. And I'll make it quick. And so what I was talking about was this guy, he's running for he's a Republican.
Okay.
And he's running in the primaries, and his name is Vivek Ramaswamy. And I probably pronounced that wrong.
Is that his first name, last name, both names?
Vivek is his first name.
Vivek. That's kind of a cool name.
Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy.
Or Ramaswamy or Ramaswamy.
Sounds like a good sandwich.
Yeah,
little
right?
cheese.
Yeah, throw a little on there. But that's his last name. And so I thought I made a joke and said, somebody had mentioned that he had been, actually speaking of Trump, he had been endorsing Donald, saying, hey, look, not endorsing him, but he had been defending Donald, saying no matter who wins the Republican nomination, let's pardon him because it's a witch hunt. They're after him.
Okay.
And a lot of people, of course, are calling him out, saying it's his agenda in case Trump doesn't win, or maybe he wants a cabinet seat on Trump's, whatever, or even VP. Maybe he wants to be vice president. So he's kind of saying all these things. And so I went on there and said, well, I think his biggest issue isn't this. His biggest issue is that I don't think anybody here can imagine actually having a president Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy.
And it wasn't racist at all. I mean, it literally was just the name.
That would be a tough name.
So the other day I was watching President Ramaswamy. Like
Ramaswamy.
It doesn't
Did you hear what President Ramaswamy said today?
President Lincoln flows, Kennedy flows, even President Obama flows. But Ramaswamy, it does
not flow.
I mean, come on. And you can't laugh about that. And so I was called a racist for claiming that an Indian person, which is apparently Ramaswamy is an Indian
He's
name.
an Indian name, okay.
Is by the way, he speaks English better than we do. I mean, he's not obviously you can't run for president if you're not born here.
Right.
So he's not really Indian. He's of Indian descent.
Gotcha.
And he's claiming that I'm racist for saying that an Indian cannot be president.
Interesting.
And I'm going, that wasn't even, come on. Can we not laugh? And eventually, when we went back and forth, and it was a little whatever, and then he told me the podcast was going to fail and all these things. And I said, well, we just started, so you'll have to wait a little bit to see, maybe make that declaration. And eventually he ended up saying, to his credit, all right, I'll check out your podcast. I'll follow the podcast, but I'm going to call out the bullshit when I see it. And I kind of laughed, and I said, okay, fair enough. Call it out, but at the same time, you need to be willing to listen because, come on, just because you think it's bullshit doesn't mean it's bullshit.
Yeah. Give us some kudos, too,
especially in this case. I mean, look, write us stuff. I'd say social media.
Ramaswamy.
President Ramaswamy. It doesn't sound funny at all to you. And then I tried to tell him, and I gave him some other examples of different ethnic names. And I said, I think I said one of them. It was an Italian, President Biba Giorgio or something.
Oh, Biba Giorgio. Yeah. That would sound fun.
But the UK or the British name that I found was Peterman.
Peterman, yeah.
And he thought, well, that's silly that you think that's funny. Well, if you put it with president, it's alliteration.
Peterman.
Yeah, President Peterman.
You spit all over everybody.
Right.
Wow.
It just sounds so. My point of all this is that going back to how we always talk about being offended in this country, and everybody just can't laugh at anything anymore. I was called something that was a pretty serious accusation. I don't like being called a racist when I'm not. In fact, I've listened to Mr. Ramaswamy.
Ramaswamy.
I've listened to him speak, and he's great. I like the guy. Look. I'm interested in listening to what he has to say. I really am. And there is not a part of me that thinks he's not qualified to be president. So there you go.
President Ramaswamy.
Let's do it. Let's start it. Let's do the signs right now.
I love it.
So anyway, I wanted to mention that because it just kind of got under my skin a little bit. So more importantly than any of that is that there have been more killer whale
son of a bitch
attacks over there in the Iberian Peninsula.
That's scary. You figure they just stop taking boats out there.
I tell you what, after all of this, somebody said, hey, let's just go down this way. I'd be like, you know what? No.
We'll go around.
Let's not go. Why don't we go the other way? How long are we really going to be out in this boat up the coastline? Do we need to go down here?
Right.
So apparently what's happened now is that they've gotten even more aggressive, Trey.
Son of a...
They are taking complete hull. You know what the hull is, right?
I don't.
The bottom of a boat.
Bottom of a boat. Just say bottom of a boat.
The bottom of the boat that kind of has a balance, allows the boat to... And they're taking this, and it sticks out below, further down from the rest of the boat, of the hull of the boat.
I'm with you.
And it took them only 15 minutes to just rip this thing right off.
Good God. Does it sink the boat at that point?
I think eventually it would, or it definitely prevents it, or definitely allows it to tip over if there was like strong winds or waves.
Gotcha.
And so what happens is, and again, boat enthusiasts, come at me if I'm wrong or
who cares?
Saying it incorrectly.
We're talking about killer whales here, not the fucking boats.
It's not about the boat. It could tip over at any time.
Right.
And so what happened was, and correct me if I'm wrong, speaking of laughing, these poor people were probably scared, but this is funny. The captain of the boat got up on the bow of the boat, which is the front.
Just say the front of the fucking boat.
Front of the boat on the starboard side.
Holy shit.
Which is the right side.
The starburst side.
Look, if my dad heard me call it the right side, he would yell at me, okay? So he went on the right side of the boat in the front, and he was so frustrated that he just started yelling towards where the whales were swimming off.
Oh, shit. Of course, yeah. That's the
smart
thing to do, yeah.
And they turned around.
Are you shitting me?
I'm not. This isn't a joke. I can't even make this up. They turned around and came back and finished the job. They ripped the entire whole of the whole.
The bottom of the boat.
The bottom. They ripped it completely off. They came back and ripped the rudders, if you will. Just took them off, and then almost apparently, according to research scientists, they're communicating through noises and pitches and things like that.
Underwater.
Interesting. That's where they live. And
listen, did you just hear what that motherfucker called us? Let's go back.
Yeah, seriously.
Holy shit.
That's what it looked like, apparently. And they came back, they took this hull off, and then they swam off. It was almost like, all right, you're going to yell at us? Okay, we're not done with you yet.
That is fucking crazy.
It reminds me of somebody who basically just got like beaten up by 5 guys. As the guys walk off, they go, "Have you had enough?
Is that all you got?
Is that all you got?"
Wow.
And so I just can't imagine this continuing to happen. So I wanted to mention that to our listeners for safety reason.
Is none of this on video?
No, it's on video.
Oh, is it?
Yeah.
Okay.
I'll you know what? I'll post some on social media.
That sounds interesting.
It is crazy, and I just want any of our listeners who are planning on yachting or boating off the Iberian Peninsula of Portugal.
I had planned that for my next summer.
Well, maybe this killer whale lady who's caused all these problems she'll be healed emotionally.
We'll give her a T-shirt.
Yeah, we have merch.
We have coasters.
We have merch. All right,
T-shirts.
Yeah, she needs something because she's pissed and she's gotten like a bunch of these orcas to.
She got her ladies with her now.
Follow her. Yeah, I wonder if any of them are males. Or if it's just a bunch of women that are
pissed
mad.
Off women.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll have to look. But I wanted to let everybody know, be careful out there. And according to our safety tips, stay in the boat. Don't jump in the water.
And don't yell at the orcas when they leave either.
That's going to be added to the list.
I wonder if these attacks only happen, if these are all females, do these attacks only happen 1 week out of each month?
You know what?
Or have they not figured that out yet?
This last one, I think the one before was about a month prior. Could be something to that, Trey. Maybe you are more qualified to research these killer whales than some of these specialists, if you will.
Not just a hat rack.
That's right. Just because you put specialist by your name doesn't mean that you know more.
No, at all.
No. Anyway, so that's going on over there. Be careful, everybody. I have one more quick story before we get into the meat of the show, if you will. And I don't mean to say meat lightly, because this story is pretty gross.
Oh, no.
And it involves a flight attendant on an airline in Turkey.
She was eating turkey?
Have you heard of this? You haven't heard this story?
I have not.
She's not eating turkey. I don't think. It could have been turkey. She's on a Turkish airline called Sun Express.
Sun Express, okay.
Which seems very American. Like Sun Express in Turkey.
It seems like a a super inexpensive flight right there.
Like, yeah. $99.95 for like
Sun Express.
Yeah, Sun Express. And then I'll get to it, but the in-flight service, you know how they have for the food is a different company. And this company was called Sancak, which I guess sounds more like turkey.
What?
Sancak.
Sancak.
Sancak. Sancak. I guess is how you pronounce it. And so they're the catering company. And so what happened, in a nutshell, I mean, this doesn't take much description, was that a flight attendant was undoing some of the in-flight meal, if you will. You know, they come on the tray, and they have the cellophane wrap around them. So you take it off after you've put it in the microwave or the oven or whatever they use, and you give it to the passengers, right?
Right.
So when she took this off, she noticed something in the food. And it was a completely severed snake head.
Holy shit. Yeah. Are you serious?
Yeah.
A snake head?
A snake head. I don't know what kind.
That's fucking crazy.
I'm looking at it right now, and trust me, they've shown like a million pictures.
Oh.
Of it. It's really bad, and it's sitting there in like a bunch of like, it looks like bok choy like lettuce, and so it blends in.
That's fucking crazy.
And so it's kind of like you wouldn't notice it, and it was sitting next to some like potatoes and cheesy like potatoes all gratin or something like that.
Ooh, that sounds good.
Yeah, good. Yeah, but not with a snake head.
Not with the snake head, no.
But so it's like, well, what the hell?
Was it like clean, severed? Like
it was straight up. Maybe at a little bit of an angle, Trey, but not. But
I mean,
it was cleanly cut. It wasn't like
that's.
It was just a head, and it is there. Like I've seen many pictures of this. This is not like a fake thing. Yeah, and so Sancak in-flight services.
Sand what?
Sancak. In-flight services.
I'm thinking of like somebody from Boston right now.
Yeah, Sancak.
Sancak.
It's really like sand coke or something. Sancak.
Sancak.
So it says, however, the in-flight service company, Sancak, claims that it couldn't have come from them.
Of course not. Sancak is
because
very
of their stringent protocols. They're saying,
no snakeheads.
Quote, we did not use any of the foreign objects that were supposedly in the food. So now it's a foreign object when cooking due to the technical and thermal conditions used in the in-flight catering facilities. So Sancak claimed, can't even say that its meals are cooked at 280 degrees Celsius, which is 536 degrees Fahrenheit for the real people in the world. That's what we use, Fahrenheit.
Right.
And so the relatively fresh-looking snakehead must have been added after that because otherwise it would have been like mush.
Oh, okay.
That's what they're claiming. I don't know.
Look, but wasn't this meal sealed?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. And so they're saying that if you had put it in sealed at that temperature, it would have melted the snakehead. So it couldn't have been them. They're saying that once the cellophane came off of the meal, someone had to have added.
Somebody cut the head.
But who, where, and how, and why? It makes no sense.
That's funny.
So I don't like airplane food to begin with. And the times I've been fortunate to sit in first class, it's still not very good. It's just kind of like, you know, I always prefer just getting a sandwich at one of the shops before you get on the flight.
Yeah.
And I'm good with that. I don't need all this other nonsense. And I especially don't need a snake head. So that kind of gives me more like flight. I don't like to fly as it is, and a little bit of flight anxiety, getting more, you know, I'm just going to bring my own stuff, dude.
Well,
I'm not even going to anymore.
I'm going to say this because I know we're supposed to stay in the gray, Ryan, but I truly...
Not about snake heads and food.
I truly feel a company by the name of Sancak. I believe them. I don't know what it is, but because their name is Sancak, I'm behind them.
You think that because
somebody's trying to take them down?
They went with such a strong, confusing name, but you respect that.
There's a conspiracy going on.
You respect that, and that you think that people are trying to take them down because
take down
of the name.
Sancak, yeah.
You know what? I respect your thought on that. I'm going to go with that.
So let me ask you this.
Please.
Do you, after a story like this, do you have any travel anxieties that you deal with?
Well, now it's snakeheads in my salad.
Snakeheads in the salad is top of the list, absolutely.
Now, I know there are countries out there that, you know, we do have don't we have some listeners in Vietnam and Sri Lanka, some of these places that
cold areas
might view a snakehead as a delicacy.
Delicacy, yeah.
So if that is the case, we are unfamiliar with that. We're
with
Dallas,
snakehead
Texas
on a
boys.
salad, yeah.
If maybe that's what it was, but according to the people around it, that was not.
That's
the case.
bad.
So that's really it for me. I'm not a huge flyer because I really don't understand how that much weight can propel into the sky. Once I'm up there, I'm usually pretty good, but it's just going up. It's like I just feel like
you don't understand the logic of it.
No, and I've had plenty of people explain the physics of it to me, and that doesn't do any good when I'm in the middle.
Doesn't
of
make
flight.
sense. Yeah,
no.
Mine is I don't know if we've told it but I've had issues with kidney stones for 20 plus years.
You have, that's right.
So
Goodness.
One of my biggest anxieties, obviously, is being on flight and a kidney stone hitting, or being in another country and a kidney stone hitting. So that's one of my biggest anxieties.
Ooh, that would suck.
So,
but at least if you're in another country on the ground, you could go to a hospital.
I would hope and deal with it. Yeah. But depending on the language barrier, I don't know.
Just point,
they may give me a prostate exam. I don't know.
Well, eventually they'll figure it out. You might have to go through some hoops there.
And I tell you what, I used to get pissed off when the doctors would tell me, "Oh, it's small enough to pass," because that fucking sucks. But it was a couple years back. I actually had to have it surgically removed. That was
I think we've talked about this
horrible.
Because I remember the same reaction when you said it had to be surgically removed. I was like, ugh.
So waking up and going through the healing process of that was absolutely horrible. So I'm fine with passing them now because that doesn't compare with the pain on the after effect of that.
Well, I'm not going to lie. Neither of them sound good, Trey.
Yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. So,
but I can't imagine. You're right. Being up in the middle of sky like that, and then. How about the embarrassment? Like you're the guy that's writhing in pain, and everybody's like, "What's going on with this guy?"
Right,
like,
right.
Everybody's freaking out, like something's going on.
Yeah, put some handcuffs on him, put a mask on him or something.
Just confine him, put him in the closet,
throw him underneath with the luggage or something. So
people get so antsy on a flight that I wouldn't be surprised. And,
right.
And maybe that's my other thing is that and I've had a few over my life. You get that big anxiety attack or that panic attack just by. Whatever, and being in a plane where you feel even more confined,
right,
is tough. And like I said, it's everybody else in that plane going, "Oh, what's this guy doing?" So I'm anxious about being anxious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So
and
that's one of mine.
I've literally had nightmares where I've dreamt about going to the airport and forgetting my anxiety medicine and having to make a choice. Do I miss the flight or have a chance of missing the flight to go all the way back home to get my anxiety medicine? Or do I jump on and just suck it up?
Both are very anxiety provoking.
Exactly. And needless to say, I've woke up before I've realized, how it ends up.
Oh, that's a good thing.
So anyway, I ran across a story and this was kind of fun.
About, travel anxiety?
Well, not really travel anxiety, but this would give me anxiety. Have you ever been on a cruise?
I have been on one cruise.
One cruise.
On my honeymoon. It was fantastic.
Gotcha. I've never been on a cruise, but this, I've wanted to. The ex-wife did not want to, but I've always wanted to.
That's interesting. You guys traveled a lot, too.
We did.
Yeah.
She didn't like to be on boats.
Well, because they're fucking orcas everywhere.
Well, that too. So this story actually gives me anxiety now on being in a cruise ship. So think about on a cruise, what's the worst possible thing you could think of that could happen? If you're on a cruise with your lovely
Titanic
wife,
type stuff. Yeah. Something happens in the boat.
You hit something.
You're in the middle. You're in the middle of nowhere.
Okay.
You can't get anywhere.
So how about this? How about you eat some bad food, get sick to your stomach?
Yeah, that actually happened.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I actually did have that happen. Go ahead.
That's not fun.
I don't mean to ruin your story, but yeah. Well, I blame, it was a French restaurant on the boat, and I told my wife I blame the French.
For getting you sick?
For getting me sick. Okay. They knew that I had a love-hate relationship with them, and so they...
Did you write a letter?
No, I was scared they were going to find another way to poison. Wow. No, anyway, I got sick for one night out of a 12-day cruise, and so I dealt with it, and it was fine. But
gotcha.
Anyway,
okay.
Go ahead.
So I've got a story here about a cruise ship from New Jersey. Maybe that's the issue right there. Going to...
those New Jersey cruise lines.
Going to Bermuda.
Okay, fair enough. Down the coast.
So the Celebrity Summit departed from New Jersey on March 15th with 2,100 passengers and 963 crew members. So when I read this story, I think, okay, in the grand scheme of things, maybe this is not a big number with that many people on. But So needless to say, something struck these passengers.
Whoa. Like struck the boat?
Struck the passengers. Not the boat, but the passengers. So...
Oh, okay. Go ahead.
Something called a neurovirus, which I had to look up. I had to Google.
Well, neuro is brain, right?
Noro, N-O-R-O.
Oh, N-O-R-O.
N-O-R-O virus.
I don't know what noro is.
So norovirus is a highly contagious virus that causes acute gastroenteritis, commonly known as the stomach flu.
Yeah, anything gastro is not good.
So this
highly contagious stomach flu is what you're telling me.
Highly contagious stomach flu.
And you're in the confines of a cruise ship.
A cruise ship.
Oh, God.
So 152 passengers, 25 crew members were left grappling with, we'll just say, the norovirus.
Yeah.
So can you imagine? I don't know what would be worse. Would it be worse going through the symptoms of this norovirus or being around all these people that are dealing with these symptoms?
Well, it reminds me of like those movies about the viruses that take over the world. Like you're just so nervous about anybody coughing on you or breathing, or you get cut, by them or something, or they scratch you.
Well, and it says these symptoms usually appear within 12 to 48 hours after exposure to the virus and can last for 1 to 3 days. It says it, I won't say how it spreads, but basically it's very easily spread. And so, must wash hands, stuff 20 seconds at a time.
It sounds like it's COVID.
So it spreads easily.
You don't wash your hands.
Right.
All that.
So needless to say, I was sitting there thinking, my God, I can't imagine being on a cruise ship and wondering if everything's clean, wiped down. Is the food, in your case, is the food good to eat?
Would you rather eat a snake head in a salad or get sick for one night with the what kind of?
Norovirus.
Norovirus. Would you eat a snake head to avoid that?
I would eat a snake head to avoid that.
You would. See, I'm the opposite. I would just throw up for the night. Whatever.
That throwing up is one of my biggest anxieties. So
yeah, but what if you ate the snake head and it made you throw?
Well, you didn't say that. Okay. You didn't say there's a possibility of me throwing up if I eat the snake head.
We didn't talk about the aftermath of your decision.
So yeah, after reading this story, it gives me anxiety about jumping on a cruise ship, which I'm already affected by the whole, the rocking of the boat,
it's not too bad.
Stuff like that.
Every once in a while, we went on what you would consider a smaller boat. I think we only had 600 or 700 passengers.
Yeah,
which is smaller, and it was our honeymoon, so we went ahead and kind of got the bigger suite and all that, and so it rocked a little bit, but overall, it never really bothers me.
Yeah.
I loved it. I had such a good time. Just everything you can do on that boat. I mean, it's like a city, a little town.
See, I think it would be fun to take a cruise, but I don't know after reading something like this. But I guess this could happen anywhere.
But like you said, one of your biggest things is throwing up, and that's like your nightmare right there.
Yeah, that's bad for me.
Is wondering. So it's not. So if it's almost like worse, like you just said, it'd be worse for you. See, I would rather just kind of have it and get over it and whatever. You walking around wondering if you're going to get it, is like worse.
And I'm not very graceful at it, so when it happens, it's not fun.
Well, I don't think anybody's graceful at it.
My ex-wife was graceful at it.
Throwing up?
Yes. Like I'd never heard it, anything like that. But yeah.
That's weird.
It was interesting. And she used to be okay with me staying in another room because she knows how it affected me. But my God, I sound like a squealing pig when I get sick. And it's just bad.
There's nothing I want to hear less than that, but I kind of do. It's like I'm torn. But anyway, that's interesting. And I can't imagine now thinking, it reminds me of something funny, and I don't know what happened. On our cruise, there was, we were the youngest people there, if that tells you anything. I mean, it was a very, very older person cruise.
Yeah.
And I think it might have been because it was one of the smaller boats, a little bit more expensive boat. And so I walked around, and there was a big, huge puzzle that was being put together throughout the week.
Well, of course, yeah.
It's a puzzle. It's for older people, right? And people walk by, and they go, let me do a piece, right? Just whatever. So about 7 days into the trip, Trey, we walked by the puzzle on the way home, and after I think we would see the comedy show, I don't know. But I had drinks in me, and I look over at the puzzle table, and there's no puzzle. But there's a sign that says for security reasons, we have removed the puzzle.
Well, of course. I wonder if it caused fights.
And right next to the sign was a box of Kleenex. And I spent the rest of the trip never solving this mystery. I didn't ask. I should have probably asked, but they couldn't solve the puzzle. And Olivia and I just laughed at it because it was just like, what could have possibly happened that would make them take the puzzle away? Can you imagine like two people fighting over two like 85-year-olds?
Edges first, damn it!
Just like,
but I got the piece, Mildred.
That's what it reminded me of. It's just anyway, just chaos on a boat. You don't know. You never know what's going to happen on a cruise ship. But
well, and I'll go ahead and give a shout out to Celebrity. Celebrity Cruises is the name of this cruise line. The reason I'm telling you this is because this is the third norovirus outbreak this year
on that line.
On that line. Oh. So both happened March 6th and the 17th, and then again 9th to the 18th. So that's fun.
So this isn't that's not a friendly shout out. That's a hey, get your shit together.
Get your shit together. Here's another funny tidbit about Celebrity Cruises.
I wonder if Sandcac does the.
Let's hope Sandcac is not associated with Celebrity Cruises. They're reputable, so I don't think so.
Yeah, right.
But Celebrity Cruises was also sued. Listen to this shit. Sued for $1 million earlier this year after a Florida family accused them over leaving their dead loved one in a drink cooler for days instead of a morgue.
What?
Said leaving the body to decompose for an open casket funeral.
Oh my God. Okay, so this
Celebrity Cruises is really killing it right now.
Yeah, Celebrity Cruise has some issues. I mean, we don't mean to bash any company, but I would probably go with another cruise liner at this point.
So any deals about Celebrity Cruises, go ahead and just pass it by.
Yeah, I bet tell you what though, if you're looking to save some money, I bet their tickets are probably pretty cheap right now.
Yeah, and you lose a few pounds while you're on the ship instead of gaining the weight, So maybe that works out pretty nicely.
Yeah, you lose some weight. Yeah, oh my goodness.
So yeah, that's my fun story.
Yeah, that's talking about travel anxiety. I can't think of anything else besides the basics. I mean, for me, it's the basic stuff. Losing your luggage. I mean, having it stolen in a country where you can't speak the language. I mean, when we were there, we flew into and we ended up at the Rome train station, which is supposedly the pickpocket capital of the world.
Yeah. So
we've got 3 big suitcases, all my wife's. I had like one backpack, and we're guarding everything. And Olivia's she's very aware, but she's overly aware. So when she is looking around for pickpocketers or potential pickpocketers, she's doing it in this army stance, she's ready to battle somebody. And I'm looking, I'm like, this is really obvious that you think everybody here is a criminal,
is ready to steal.
And meanwhile, I've got all the bags on me. So if somebody came at me, I'd be like, okay, I can't do anything.
You're good.
And so I think that kind of anxiety, and there were guards walking around with machine guns.
Oh, fun. Okay.
Checking everybody's passports. And I mean, it was very uncomfortable. So people want to talk about the United States in certain things. I don't know. Rome, Italy had some stuff going on.
Yeah, sounds like it.
And then we got on the train to Venice, and people were in our seats, and it was shoulder to shoulder, and I'm leaving all the bags up with where the bags go, and so there's a couple in our seats that were just going at it, just making out like if they had no clothes on, they would have just gone at it.
Nice.
Nice. And I thought that at first, and then of course, my wife ruins it. She has to make a story. She's like, I don't see a wedding ring on her finger, but I see one on his.
Uh-oh.
This is good. And I was like, okay,
Drama.
Really, this is not Bravo. And so there was just an uncomfortable thing. Maybe my anxiety is not speaking the language, because you can't. No one's going to help you.
Yeah.
And the train station, no one. I mean, we couldn't even order a cup of coffee. The person's like, what? I'm like,
can't Google Translate. Get the fuck out of my seat. Yeah. Oh, and I need a coffee.
Yeah. Do you really? I mean, you've got to at the train station, at the coffee place at the train station. You have to have dealt with a lot of English-speaking
tourists, yeah.
And so either they're just laughing and they're like, we're pretending we don't know or whatever. But
yeah.
Other than that, I can't think of any travel anxieties that are just out there. It's just the basic ones.
Yeah,
but
that makes sense. I've actually photocopied my passport to have a separate copy just in case I lose it.
But see, that's not paranoia. That's like just smart, right?
Oh,
there.
okay. Well,
that's
good.
Smart. Yeah.
Does it matter how many copies I have?
If you go more than one copy, then you've gone into...
That's a little too far.
In my opinion.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I mean, what happens if you lose one copy? Everyone else is going to wish they had that second copy, Trey.
One copy per outfit. So.
Is that the rule?
I mean...
If you came out with a manual for travel, that would be like...
That would be my rule.
Yeah, that's funny. Well, moving on, I have another little story for you. And speaking of Europe and travel and all that, I feel like everything's coming together tonight. I feel like it's flowing.
After we just talk about the norovirus?
Yes, it's flowing.
It's flowing.
After the norovirus. But we talked about cruises and Turkey, the airliner in Turkey, and now we just talked about Italy, and now I'm going to talk about Poland.
Okay.
If you remember, we had a few Poland listeners, and that kind of faded for a little bit, and I thought, all right, we upset them. I don't know why. But now,
Polanders.
Now all of it, that might have been it. But now they've come back and like threefold. I mean, a bunch of Poland listeners, and then last week have come on and clicked on the podcast.
We do love your sausage.
Absolutely love the sausage, and I do love my my friend who is from Poland, who is really sweet.
I don't know about his sausage, but
it was a her. She has no sausage.
Oh, okay. Sorry. We don't know these days.
It's true. And so I'm going to talk about Poland, and I read this the other day, and it's just so intriguing to me. And people can make fun of me all they want, and I've mentioned it once or twice before, and we're definitely going to talk about it later on. We have a friend of the show's Romanian, and we want to talk about vampires, Trey.
Ooh, okay, this could be fun.
And in this case, apparently, there was a 17th century, so that would be the 1600s, right?
Okay.
Polish vampire. And they discovered this vampire graveyard, if you will. What they mean by that is that every skeleton body that was there, now skeleton, had something about it that just basically screamed, no pun intended, that people thought that these were all vampires. One of them was the basic one was decapitation. People back then believed that if you decapitated the vampire, it was dead.
Gotcha. Okay.
And so all these bodies had the skull in their crotch area. So really? The bones are all there, but their skull is in the crotch. So they've been decapitated, and they placed it in between their legs. I guess that's
for.
Yeah, they didn't
smell the crotch for eternity.
Eternity. You get to. And so that was one. The other thing is there was a coin in the mouth, in between the teeth, which used to symbolize something of to get rid of the demons, get rid of the monsters, vampires, if you will. And so then there was one that had a sickle. Do you know what a sickle is? It's like the Grim Reaper weapon.
I'm with you, yeah.
The big blade on the stick.
Gotcha.
And it was across the neck area of this body, to where if it had tried to rise, it would have gone into the blade on its neck.
Really?
I still think you kind of maneuver a little bit, but that wasn't their thought, apparently. So the point is that there's an entire graveyard in this area of Poland that thought, all right, these are all vampires. Not one skeleton in there was fully intact. There were all these things in there that made it think they were vampires. And so my question to you, and we'll get more in depth, is: do you believe in vampirism?
Vampirism.
Do you believe in vampires as a whole?
Was that a word?
Not Twilight vampires. I mean, that's I guess a nice thought if you want to twinkle in the sunlight.
I do like to twinkle. I do.
If someone had asked you and me what kind of vampires, we'd be like, yeah, we'll be the Twilight ones. We can just run around and twinkle in the sun.
What's crazy is I just watched a movie, Once Bitten. Do you remember that with Jim Carrey?
No.
Oh, you have to check that out.
Was he serious or was he funny?
It was actually a little
both?
But it wasn't him that was the serious. It was kind of a cheesy comedy movie, but he wasn't the one being overly cheesy. I would like to be Edward. Sorry,
he was pretty cool, wasn't he? He was cool. We were obviously Team Edward, right?
Team Edward.
Jacob.
Jake
the
was
Wolves.
Jake.
Trey and I were just making up names. Are these the right names? We don't know.
Edward and Jacob.
We don't know. Yeah, but I had an obsession with Vampire Diaries and with True Blood.
True Blood, okay.
Everybody can yell at me. But True Blood was like my favorite show, and the idea of vampires just is intriguing to me. Obviously, those vampires were cool, but if you go back to this Poland issue back in the 1700s,
they had an issue.
The issue of vampires in their town.
Oh,
there's a whole different mindset. I mean, this isn't garlic and holy water. I mean, that's why I'm so intrigued by vampires, Trace, because over the years, vampires has been one of the longest folklores that's ever been told, and there's been so many different approaches, including the Twilight. But then back in the day, they were just demons. Back in the day, the only way to kill them was to decapitate them, and then by now, you've had all these other. You had the Dracula, you had the sunlight, the garlic, the cross, even. You know what I mean? So it's intriguing to me. I just didn't know if you believed in vampires.
I would like to believe in them because on the flip side, I'd love to live eternally.
I was going to ask you. I would turn in 2 seconds. Would you turn?
Depends on how painful it is, but yeah, I guess I could
even
do
if
it
it was I was going to say,
and go through it.
Right.
I would do it. Yeah, I would.
Now, but for my concern with you is that you would no longer be able to enjoy food.
Ooh, that wouldn't be fun.
But you wouldn't care. Food to you would be blood.
Would be a necessity.
You getting a nice typo negative, maybe, or
typo
whatever
negative,
whatever you got. AB,
positive.
If you preferred AB,
yeah,
that to you would be just like getting a nice big burrito. What do you think?
I would definitely do that. Yeah.
You get a little sauce on that. Oh, that blood.
Do you add blood to the blood?
Yeah.
A little side of typo negative with some B minus,
some AB with a little seasoning of
there we go.
O. Yeah, but anyway,
I would turn in a minute.
Yeah, I think so. And some people look at me like, really? But come on, think about it. But I'd love to talk about that in depth in some of these stories because they're really fascinating to me. And I think our, like I said, the friend of the show, I think, has some insight and some opinions about that because the biggest, most famous vampire, which is Vlad the Impaler, i.e. Dracula, came from Romania. So maybe at some point we can all talk about that. But
sounds like
that was another story. I just couldn't pass it up. To me, just at this day and age, can you imagine like going down over into like Carrollton, which is a suburb of Dallas, and just like in a graveyard somehow finding out that everybody 300 years ago thought that these were vampires. Everybody's vampires. I'd be intrigued.
That would be intriguing.
Yeah.
I'd love to check that out.
So Polish listeners, let us know.
Is this real?
Do you believe that this town in Poland was overrun by vampires and that you guys successfully put them down?
Or are you a vampire?
That is another good question. And can Trey and I turn?
Yes.
Right. That's the last question.
Would we be Polish vampires if we're turned?
That's a good question.
Can we still be American?
That's a good question. Do we turn and do we look exactly identical to what we are now?
Do we have a Polish accent at that point?
Yeah, I might want to find a different vampire in that case. Maybe one. Which accent would you do?
Ooh.
Good one. Yeah. So let's think on that.
Maybe Australian.
Yeah, women like the Australian accent, don't they?
I think they like that one too.
Right, maybe we'll get some Australian listeners.
There we go.
Talk to us.
Let us know.
Yeah. So that's my story.
I thought I would bring up a topic. So it's Pride Month, right?
It is Pride Month. Are you celebrating?
You know I always celebrate.
Right.
Every month is Pride Month. But I thought this was interesting. I found a story about a school.
Are we getting serious right now?
It's a little bit serious.
Okay, let me get
for a little while.
Let me get into the mindset.
Take a deep breath.
Yeah, because tonight we've talked a lot about some fun stuff. So
fun stuff.
Let's be serious for a few minutes.
So I found a story about a middle school in Massachusetts.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were encouraged to wear rainbow-colored T-shirts. They had pride flag stickers. all kinds of stuff that
to
they
class,
wanted
to come to school. Okay.
So this is I apologize. Let me bounce back. No. So this is a middle school. I don't know if I already said that, but this is a middle school that they wanted to celebrate Pride Month. Okay.
Okay.
The students, they had a different thought. So basically,
all of the students?
All of the students.
Oh.
So they were asked to wear rainbow-colored shirts to school to celebrate Pride Month on June 2nd. However, they decided to lead a student protest against this Pride Month display.
So basically the rainbow paraphernalia, like the flags.
They were not fans. So they decided, and maybe this is where it kind of went a little bit too far, but they destroyed the Pride decorations. They threw stickers on the ground, and they chanted, "My pronouns are USA," which I don't know how that helps out. But anyway, it made me think about it. I understand wanting to understand, whether it's Pride Month, whether it's our African American month, whether it's Native American month, whatever the case may be, is bringing awareness to it. I get it. But in this scenario, you're wanting middle schoolers and kind of forcing that agenda on these middle schoolers to wear, rainbow T-shirts, rainbow this, rainbow that. Is that going a little bit too far?
Was it encouraged or were they requiring it? I mean, some people might say that doesn't make a difference, but I think it kind of does in this story. I mean, if they're sitting here demanding that you wear it and that you're, getting suspended if you don't, then that's pretty intense. But if it was just encouraged, then the first step is just don't wear it.
Well, in the parents, it says, so the parents told Local News, and this is kind of what they were maybe saying, that it was forced to participate, but it says that their straight identifying students said they felt forced to participate and were offended by some of the, the quotes that were being put up, the posters and all this kind of good stuff. So again, I understand it. We want to bring awareness to it. I get it. And I want to understand it. Being a 44-year-old man, I want to understand it too. But is this going a little bit too far? Almost like force feeding them to, this is how it is. Let me force feed this agenda onto you, and you're going to have gay pride as a middle school student. Is that going a little bit too far?
Right. I think there's a difference between being aware of gay pride and go ahead.
I know. Go ahead with your
no.
And I guess in this is maybe they want to, I don't know, educate the students. Maybe there's a different way to do it. You can put up the gay flag, you can put up that kind of stuff, but telling them almost in the way these parents are saying, forcing them to now participate and wear the gay flag and that kind of stuff. Maybe have courses to, if you're interested in it, learning more about it. But
or brief, just. Yeah, you don't need to decorate the entire, school and force the kids to wear anything. And to me, I have a couple of questions for you, or a couple of just points to talk about with you. The first is you say middle school, so that is ages 11 to 13. Right. That's 6th grade, 7th grade, and 8th grade. That's 11 to 13. So the fact that these kids are saying and doing these things is probably not from them. It's probably from either parents or people who aren't at the school, or some sort of influencers on YouTube or wherever the kids are watching these days, TikTok videos, things like that. Because you would think that an 11-year-old wouldn't be smart enough to walk in there and start chanting things in protest.
So you think the parents were pushing them?
But then the second point, which kind of goes against it, is this is in Massachusetts. Which, unless I need to look and see where in Massachusetts was it again?
Let me scroll back up real quick. And Burlington, Mass. And I don't know, admittedly, where Burlington is, and I can try and look it up here on a map. But Massachusetts overall is pretty liberal. Which to me, I'm surprised that you have like an entire class of kids that would do this. Like you said, it was the class. It wasn't like 3 kids, right? Right.
And so I'm looking at a map right now, and I'm trying to figure out where exactly it is. And it's, it's outside of Boston. That to me, that's not, northern Mass. That's not in the middle of nowhere, which I don't even know if is more of a conservative area. But, this is surprising to me that you got an entire class doing this because of the parents.
Right.
And so I just can't imagine 11 and 12-year-olds standing up on their chairs and chanting something like, our pronouns are USA. I mean, 11 and 12.
Well, and it's one of the parents even said on here that the daughter told her, you know, that's offensive to me because I am straight. And said, that she could only speak for what her daughter said. But
the daughter came home and said that to the parents?
Right. The daughter told this to a mom that was interviewed. And said, the mom's like, I can only speak for my daughter. She just didn't want to wear that to school.
Right.
It's not that she wanted to hurt anybody's feelings, but she's saying, I'm straight. Why do I need to wear this?
Sure.
So
if you want to wear it, great. And that's, let's jump in here as Stay in the Grid podcast and say right off the bat, any of these kids that are, if it's because they have any hate in their blood for gay people at age 11, that's the bigger issue.
Right.
If it really is because they don't want it forced down their throat, I get that too, though, and that's the problem. So you have to distinguish between the two. And where is it coming from? Is it coming from the parents? Or the parents basically saying, this gay thing? Okay, well, it's not a gay thing. It is something that over the last 20 or 30 years has been more and more accepted, and it's become more and more whatever. And whether that's because of Gay Pride Month, but it's not just Gay Pride Month now. It's Pride Month for all all the letters.
Right.
I'm not even gonna botch it. All the letters, including trans, which is in my opinion, that's different than gay. That's something that they're two separate conversations, in my opinion. The one thing I wanted to mention real fast before anybody jumps on this is that standing and saying the pronouns are USA doesn't make any sense to me, and I don't know where these little assholes got that, because the United States isn't anti any of these things. As a whole, you can't say that. I mean, it's everywhere. You just can't. There are people that obviously are, but they're assholes.
Yeah.
But standing up and saying you're basically claiming that our country is, those are our pronouns, or whatever. I mean, to disagree with having to use, or I take that back, to disagree with being chastised for not using certain pronouns is completely different. To disagree with having Pride Month shoved down your throat, completely different. But to sit here and do the whole USA thing,
yeah, that didn't make any sense.
It's just kind of like, I mean, you're feeding into the stereotype of this kind of the actual bigots in the country,
right?
Not the ones that are being called bigots just for questioning, like you said. Are you homophobic, or do you have a problem with gay people, Trey? No. But you're questioning the how much it's being forced on the children in these schools. There's nothing wrong with questioning that.
And I'm questioning based on the reaction. So I understand having gay pride celebrations, but is a middle school
right
the best place to have a gay pride celebration?
Or at that level? At
that level. Even any school, period. You know? Have the celebration after school, down the street, whatever the case may be is. But,
or do it one day, say, this Friday in the fucking cafeteria or in our gymnasium or whatever, we're going to do a thing. We're going to do a thing where we recognize Pride.
Whoever wants to show up can.
It's optional. Show up, support it. We'll have cookies in the shape of penises. Sorry, I couldn't resist.
Rainbow colored
cookies. That's what I meant.
There you go.
And we'll just make sure that everybody knows that we're celebrating a lifestyle that doesn't need to be put down anymore.
Right.
And great. But to sit there every day and literally, I've heard of schools, to add to this, where they're taking the American flags down and putting up the pride flags. Mm-hmm. And it gets really, because you're going, okay, was it that big a deal? Well, it kind of is, because The American flag represents something completely different. That's just our country. This isn't like a flag that you rotate issues on. It's not like you have the cancer awareness flag and the sports team flag and all these other things where you can rotate out. I have a flagpole in my front yard that I put my Aggie flag up, and I put all these other flags up. Right now, it is the American flag, but that's different. When you're flying an American flag at a school on the main flagpole, and you replace it with the pride flag, then people start going, "Oh, this is a little bit serious." And I say that, Trey, and everybody listening, 100% in support of alternate, I say alternate, I don't know if that's the right word, lifestyles of gay and bi and trans, and be happy. But everybody that isn't one of those things, which, by the way, I hate to say it, is 93 point something percent of the world, at least as far as we know, that's claiming and not claiming it, doesn't share that lifestyle.
Right. And
so to force it just constantly, it's almost pushing them the other way.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. It's kind of like these kids are 11 and 12 and they're going to be all of a sudden they're against it, but they don't know why.
Right.
It's just because it was shoved down their throat.
Just forced it, yeah.
So I think there's just a way to do it in a little more delicate manner. Does that
absolutely
make sense? Yeah.
No, that absolutely makes sense. So after kind of reading this a little bit, I also started thinking about on the lighter side. You know, we've got Mother's Day that just happened.
I love on the lighter side.
On the lighter side. Yeah. So we had Mother's Day that happened last month, right?
Right.
We got Father's Day coming up. We've got Gay Pride Month going on right now. Mm-hmm. So I'm starting to think, where's my day? You know?
Wait, Trey Day?
We didn't have to call it Trey Day, but any 40-year-old man, divorced, no kids, why don't we have a day? I want a day where I get a card because, you know, I successfully didn't have any children.
I don't see those in the Hallmark, you know, with cards.
I have 2 successful divorces. That should count for something, but I don't have my section, or my day, I should say.
Right.
A random Tuesday, you know, because, you know, that doesn't have to be a special day, but just a random Tuesday.
So you want Tuesdays?
A Tuesday. Yeah.
Which
Tuesday.
month? Oh, you haven't even told me.
Like the third Tuesday of the third month every other year.
So the third month, it doesn't change. That would be March. You like the number 3.
I like the number 3.
You're the third, the third Lewis.
So I'll take the third month.
So you want March, the third week in March.
Third week of March.
Tuesday.
On a Tuesday. The third Tuesday, yeah.
So you're not one of those holidays that wants the actual number to be the same.
No.
You're like Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
You're like
it's going to be on a
Easter.
Tuesday. Yeah.
You want the day of the week. So you
Nothing
want the
special.
Tuesday.
Tuesday's not that special.
But what would we call it, though?
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Let us know.
It is my idea, so we can start with Trey Day.
Just Trey Day. And it rhymes, and it kind of sounds cool.
Yeah, so it represents all the men out there that didn't have kids, you know, have been through some divorces.
Do they have to have divorces, or can they just be single men without kids?
Let's say you go to another level if you have a divorce in there.
Oh.
So if you just stayed single, you didn't deal with too much shit. But if you've got divorces on
there are levels of this day. Okay.
There's levels of this day. So, you know, 2 divorces, you're high up there in status, I would say. 3 divorces, you're even higher than that, you know? So there's different stages of this day. But, Brian, I think it would be fair. You know, I'd like a date because, you know, on Father's Day, I don't get a card, you know?
Yeah.
I mean,
I can give you a card. I mean, you fathered a dog, right?
You know,
well, not literally.
Not anymore, but I don't have my dogs anymore. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. We don't have an uncle day, you know, to celebrate uncles in the world.
Yeah, that's true. They should do like an aunt-uncle day or aunt-uncle cousin day.
You know?
Or second-tier family day, right?
You know? I mean, they're just jealous because I get my 8 hours of sleep, you know?
No, that's true.
I get to come to a birthday party, eat the cake, throw the kids around, and leave. Yeah. You know? I don't have to worry about cleaning
I have to admit, you've come to some parties of my kids and then been able to bail at your own doing.
There you go.
You're like, I'm out of here. I'm like, what? That can't be right.
I bring the drum set and
right.
leave the parents to enjoy that shit.
Yeah,
so. Because guess what? You can't reciprocate that kind of gift.
I know. And if I do,
you can't give
nothing.
You can give it to me. So,
yeah.
So, yeah.
So let's work on that. Let's work on that. Divorce is a bonus, but the main premise is that you had no kids and you're not married.
I'm not married.
Okay, fair enough. Fair enough. It reminds me of like all my little kids. They're not my kids yet, but they will. You know, kids are always like, how come there's not a kid day? And then the response from every parent is, well, every day is kids day. Well, so from my end, I'm going, Trey, every day is Trey day because you don't have these responsibilities. And your response would be,
that's true.
You don't. It's true. It's true, but you still want a day.
I still want a day.
You still want a day.
I want a card.
You want a card.
A little gift.
Fair enough. So on Trey Day, we're going to give a card and a small gift. Maybe we should set like a spending limit because I don't know if you deserve expensive gifts.
No.
Because you just want to be recognized.
Recognized, yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah. Pull-out game is strong, you know, so my marriage game is not so strong.
Right.
But
great at one thing and not so great at the other.
Right.
Okay. So, all right. Well, we're going to work on that.
That's a fair ask. No.
No, it's very fair. We're going to work on that day for you. That's pretty funny. I like it. I can't continue because I focus because I'm thinking of the name of the day. There's so many potential names. There's so many potential names.
We'll have to figure that out.
But anyway, so let's go with our awareness of self-awareness, or what do we call it?
Oh, I want to jump in here because I have one. I have a self-awareness of self-awareness.
Please, because we're going to do this bit every show because, again, in the last week, Trey, I was driving around and thinking, or in the store or wherever, and I'm just going, here are more people that piss me off. And we're going to start making a list, and this is going to be something that you guys will hear from us at the end of every show. And so you said you have a good one for tonight.
I have a good one.
So let's do it.
So I told you I finally got back into the gym.
Yeah, you look good.
I'm trying to lift a little weights and stuff like that.
Can't focus tonight.
Yeah. But I keep noticing these guys now will spend 30 seconds doing 10 to 15 reps on a machine, right?
Okay.
But then they turn and look at themselves in the mirror, spend 5 to 10 minutes, then going through every
No way. Is it that obvious?
Oh, yeah. It's bad.
Really?
And I'll sit there and I'll just stop and I'll just kind of look at somebody, like awkwardly look at them, because you see them doing the flexing and going through all these poses in the mirror, and then they catch me looking, and then
my God,
and they jump back on the machine and stuff like that. So literally, they do, you know, like I said, 10 to 15 reps on a machine, whether it's your chest, your triceps, whatever the case may be, and then they look in the mirror and they're checking themselves out, flexing and stuff like that. I'm just like, what is going on with this world? You know,
I'm worried when if I'm in the gym and I look at the mirror, I'm worried somebody's going to see me so much that I like I'm not looking. You know, like I don't even want anybody to think I'm looking at myself.
Right.
And these guys, you're telling me, are just like,
they're just sitting there flexing and stuff like this.
They probably have like huge muscles.
I've no shit. I've seen guys pull off their shirts to start flexing, and so
maybe we should just start doing it right next to them. Just walk up,
just start flexing with them.
Just start doing whatever they do. Just mirror it.
So I made a mistake though, Ryan.
Oh God.
Yeah. So as I'm looking at these guys doing their flexing and stuff like this, and I'm thinking, you know, what's wrong with this picture? What's wrong with this world? I made the mistake of looking in the mirror.
While somebody was doing it?
So I finished
on your own.
I finished my reps, Ryan. And
I want to see how much weight you put on your reps.
And I looked in the mirror, Ryan.
Okay.
And I liked what I saw.
You did.
Now I see why they sit there and flex. I don't know what's up with these mirrors, but
oh my God.
The shoulders looked a little bit better.
All right.
The biceps looked a little bit more.
A little bicep action.
You know,
okay.
The triceps were flowing a little bit. Next thing you know, I'm posing in the mirror myself.
Oh my God.
So I become that asshole.
Oh, I did not see this coming. This was quite the twist.
So I'm like, what have I become? I mean, I'm sitting there looking at the arms, looking at the legs. I mean, the jawline looks good in this mirror. I don't know what's up with this mirror, but Ryan, I started taking off my clothes to see what else looks good. Luckily,
you're just your underwear.
Luckily, somebody came up and grabbed me real quick and helped me say, no.
Yeah.
So
you look good.
I'm sitting there thinking, I got to buy these mirrors for my house. Maybe, I was
thinking,
seriously. I was thinking about when we were talking about the microphone microphones, how sexy we sound with these microphones. But I was like, you know what? Before I go on a date, maybe I need to show up, bring a couple outfits, see what it looks good in the mirror.
Or hold on. You like bring the mirror in and set it up.
Yeah, set it next to my date. Don't look at me. Look at the mirror.
Yeah, look at the mirror.
Yeah, check out the mirror first.
Check it out, and you flex.
Yeah, so I was like, man, now I understand why these guys are sitting there flexing in this freaking mirror.
That is both funny and pathetic at the same time. Okay, can you tell me what it was that you were looking at particularly? Were you said you liked the arms.
My shoulders. I like the shoulders, how they looked in the mirror, the biceps, the triceps, because
just all of it. You said bicep, tricep. Okay, so was there any part you didn't like?
No, I like
no.
Yeah, that mirror was amazing.
Everything. Well, so I haven't done this before, but I don't disagree with you, and I'll tell you why. Because I've experienced the other side of it. Which is like. In our master bathroom, Trey, we have lots of mirrors. There's like I don't know how whoever built this house just decided they were going to put mirrors everywhere.
Yeah.
So there's like full body mirrors in the closet, which is, by the way, the size of our room.
They were doing some naughty stuff.
Yeah. There's a mirror, and then there's the bathroom mirrors and whatever. And I tell you what, the mirrors in the closet are like what you're talking about.
Oh, yeah?
I turn around and go, okay. This keto diet's working out pretty well. I look good. A little flex.
Yeah.
Then I walk in, and immediately when I'm in front of the sink, I'm going, oh.
Where'd it go?
What from there to here, I just like gained 5 pounds.
Right.
Like, what's going on over here? And this shirt looked great when I put it on and over here, but over here, and I literally have taken shirts off.
Yeah.
Because of this mirror. So I'm going, what the fuck is this mirror? And why does it hate me so much?
Keep telling me the wrong. It's false advertisement.
Why is there not a company, which we should do?
Oh, yeah.
And figure out where the gyms get these mirrors.
These magical mirrors.
And we would sell microphone equipment, and we would sell the mirrors.
The mirrors.
And make every man.
No man would be single ever again.
I mean, you would be top notch because it's all about voice and muscle tone.
Yeah. Tell you what.
The hashtag voice and muscle tone.
Voice and muscle tone. Boom.
I mean.
So yeah, that was my awareness to self-awareness, and then I became.
You were literally self-aware.
I was, and then I lost it. So yeah, but I love those mirrors now.
Yeah. So now when you allot like an hour to go work out, now it needs to be an hour and 30 minutes.
A good day and a half.
There's gonna be plenty
flexing.
Of flex time. Did you get how many reps you get done tonight? Not really that many.
But the flexing was great.
But I tell you what. I like,
yeah.
Like, oh my God.
I catch myself and I was like, oh, let me see. Oh, flex it a little bit. No. And make sure somebody's looking. You got to do another rep.
Oh, God. Did anybody like see you and like that you were on any girls in there that, I mean, it sounds like it's a bunch of dudes flexing in the mirror.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Oh.
Yeah.
So there weren't any women like, okay.
No. Not that I know of.
Well, they might have been. You might not
laughing.
You're too busy looking at yourself.
Might have been some guys too. I don't know. So.
Well, yeah. Is there anything in the gym? Anything else that bothers you about maybe self-awareness? Not that you do, because now apparently you've jumped in. Yeah. Is there anything else that you do or anything else that? Is there anything that anybody else does that is another awareness that you need people to be self-aware of?
I don't know if we've talked about it before, but the phones are bad.
No, we have not talked about.
We haven't talked about the phones.
I don't think we've talked much about the gym.
So I try to sneak a gym workout in the mornings before I have to be at work, and so
I thought you rode your bike.
I've been changing my routine a little bit. Yeah,
take it easy over there.
Well, it's not as packed in the morning either, so I'm thinking, okay, but it never fails. The machine I need is always the machine that's the most popular one that fucking day.
Every other machine is open.
Right. So every other machine is working except for the one I need. So I try to do I've gone to other machines, done different exercises, multiple sets of these exercises, and I keep looking at the machine I need, and they're sitting there on their fucking phone.
Oh, God. Yeah, the phone thing.
And just leaning there on their phone, not even working out.
The phone thing anywhere, not just the gym or the car, but like, God, it's everywhere.
And so, I have to politely ask, hey, how many sets do you have left? And of course, they have like 2 or 3 left.
Right.
And then, I debate whether or not do I just sit there and stare at them awkwardly or,
Yes,
or
that's my answer.
I've heard that's bad etiquette, so I try not to do that. But
anyway, bad etiquette
so is the damn
phone. Yeah.
And there's these group of guys that are always in there in the morning too. It looks like maybe a father, son, grandfather kind of family type deal. Cool. And so of course I needed the bench press, the bench, and I walk over there.
Is it a small gym? Only one bench?
No, there was actually all the machines were being used except for this one machine. Okay. The bench was missing because they had their phone, their wallet, their keys, and everything sitting on this fucking bench. I'm like, can I use this bench?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. They've got lockers in there you can do for free. It's like, go put your shit up. But, yeah, they had everything out. So, yeah, it just awareness of that. You know what? Other people use the shit, too. However, I am bad. I don't know how bad this is, but I don't really wipe the machines down.
I was just going to say, that's one of my...
Is that a bad thing?
One of my things is people that don't wipe the machines.
But... I'm not sitting there dripping sweat either, so I don't know. And I'm usually on and off the machine and go. So I'm like, boom, boom, go to the next one. Boom, boom,
you don't
go.
think you've had any sweat at all?
I don't. I'm lucky about that. I don't sweat a lot unless it's super humid outside.
I just feel like even if you're not drenched in sweat, if say you're doing like the chest machine where you bring your arms together, you know what I'm talking about? I'm trying to describe it for our listeners. Trying to show it to
everybody.
Check me out. But, you pull your chest together, and where your forearms are on the pads, there's got to be some sort of a... No, come on.
It's not that. You know what? You're in a fucking gym. Just deal with the sweat.
No, but why not?
Unless I'm dripping sweat, then no, I don't give a shit.
That's interesting to me because there are other things that bother you, but you can just sweat all over everything.
I don't sweat all over everything. So
I don't know.
I'll have to check next time. I think I
do. Even if I don't sweat, I still feel like I need to wipe it down. That's weird?
I'm going to take a shower when I get home. So,
No, I wipe it down for everybody else.
No, screw all that. Because, sometimes I'm sitting there waiting for a machine and then I have to wait for him to walk all the way over to the fucking thing to get a wet paper towel to come all the way back over and wipe it down. You know what? Fuck it.
But he's wiping it down for you.
Yeah, who cares? I don't need it.
Wow. You're okay with
I don't care.
Dancing in his sweat.
If you're not dripping sweat, I don't care. I'm not putting my face on it. I don't care. And like I said, I'm going to take a shower when I get home anyway.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is one of the things that Trey and I vehemently disagree on.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it's just a kind of an etiquette thing. Just do it. Like, what's the problem?
Whatever. Just move on.
Okay.
I need the machine. Just get up and go.
All right. I don't know if I can work out with you.
Yeah.
You'll
be all right.
If I work out with you, I'll be like, dude, you better wipe that. And you'll be like, nope. And then I'll be like, hello, and you'll be like flexing in the mirror.
Yeah.
So I'll go wipe it down for both of. I'll wipe it down for me and for you. And I don't really have any gym. I'm trying to think of I used to go to the gym a lot, especially when I was living in high rises that actually had a gym. It made it easier for me to go. And I don't know. I think that maybe when you're on a treadmill or an elliptical and there are 6 of them and somebody comes and like gets on the one right next to you, like,
oh, that is interesting.
There's 6 of them and I'm the only one on one of them, but you like this one, and it's just weird because the whole time, like if I'm watching something on my phone, like are they analyzing what I'm watching, or like do I need to, what if like my breath's bad and I'm breathing heavily?
Right.
You start thinking like, could you just go one more over?
What if I want to rip a fart?
Yeah, exactly. What if I the deodorant?
Just move over.
So that's probably my.
That makes no sense.
Other than that, I can't think of anything. I mean, maybe when you leave your towels, like if a place has towels for use and you're supposed to throw them in the thing, don't leave them. Just throw them in the thing. That kind of stuff.
And rack your weights, goddammit. Rack your weights.
Oh yeah, you and the weights thing.
The same group of guys. There's 6 of them. They can't rack their weights. There's 6 of them. Rack the fucking weights when you leave.
That's a good idea.
So.
Yeah, and leave it to me to talk about the televisions that are in the gym.
Oh yeah.
You don't sit there and monopolize the TV when there's 18 people in there. Like you stand in front of it and like somebody wants to, I don't know. But yeah, that's our self-awareness is the gym edition, if you will.
Yep. The mirrors are good.
The mirrors are good. Hashtag Jim Mirrors rule. Our new, I hate to call her new, I've known her for a long time, but our new social media / marketing / promo girl, Allison.
When are we going to have her on?
I want to have her on soon because I think she'd be entertaining. And I think she could take some of our bullshit and then throw it right back at us.
Yeah, my mom actually texted me, says, exciting, you hired somebody. And I was like, wait, what? I had to call her. I was like, what are you talking about? She goes, Ryan was saying about, I was like, oh, no, she's a friend. You know.
Yeah, well, I mean, I did hire.
She's
I hired
helping us
her.
out.
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know if we hired her, but I don't. But
It's kind of hired her.
Oh.
I mean, I offered to help, you know. I mean, I wasn't going to just take advantage of her.
Keep asking a lot of questions about her kids.
Yes.
But then ask the business question within that middle. Same question.
Right.
So how's little Jimmy at T-ball, and should we buy 300 shirts with a pattern on it?
Exactly.
And how should we do this on social media?
And then when she claims, you know, all right, here's my bill, I'll be like, look,
no, we were talking about Jimmy.
We're talking about your kid.
Yeah. Hopefully she doesn't have a kid named Jimmy.
No. She has one daughter, and I think the daughter is like my youngest age. I think they're like 18 months or something like that. And so there's no events going on yet. But she's been a great help, and I think that... So Allison thinks we need to be, no matter where we are, just flinging Stay in the Gray podcast stuff around.
Like Frisbee style?
Frisbee style. We've got, you know, business cards, and we're about to have coasters and pens even.
Do we have a lawyer on staff if we hit somebody in the eye or something?
Well, I'm not sure we went to law school.
Oh.
But yeah.
We just run.
Just run. That's our legal advice. Just go.
Just run.
But I think that's her mindset was just so. Even in the gym, I think she was talking about she knew that you've been going, and she's like, look, just have them drop off some cards. And now I'm getting this visual of you flexing right next to another dude that's flexing. Just be like, here, check out the podcast.
Yeah, read the shirt.
Yeah, read the shirt, or here's a card.
Here's the card.
You know, or toss.
My number's on the back.
I could just see you tossing a coaster and hit him in the eye or something.
There you go. Yeah,
getting in a fight.
God damn it. Ryan, it happened again.
Yeah, it happened again. These damn coasters. But anyway, so I'm glad to have you back, my man. This is definitely more fun than me sitting here like a chode by myself.
Yeah, I'm sure the listeners are enjoying it too.
Yes, a lot more than me is what you're saying. I almost went on for about 30 extra minutes, but I tried to spell the listeners.
I can imagine.
Yeah, well, all right. Well, anything else tonight?
No, sir.
All right, check out our social media as usual, and we'll post, I think, what videos? We'll do the killer whale videos and some other videos, but check out Facebook, Instagram, all that good stuff, and we're ready to roll, and keep spreading the word. We love you.
Later. It saddens me that I'm not quite gay enough to celebrate Gay Pride Month.
You're not going to wear a rainbow T-shirt to the gym?
I didn't say I wouldn't do that.